And we're going live on YouTube. Welcome to the Psychic Cafe. Come on in, grab your coffee or tea, pull up a chair, and hang out with us. I've got the fabulous Pamela Steele and Michelle Matheny with me. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day,
All the
everyone.
all the dads out there. Yeah, it's Father's Day, and tomorrow is my birthday. I'm getting
And
really old.
You're not as old as me, and I'm not going to sing to you for your birthday because that's your present from me.
Thanks for the present. Yeah, I did karaoke last night, and I cut my own hair.
ooh,
I did a summer cut, really short, for my birthday and for summer. Really excited, really excited. So tomorrow's the birthday. Yeah, depending on the year, my birthday can be a little a ways away from Father's Day, but sometimes it's on the same day, which I think it was last year. And then sometimes, because I think it was on Sunday and now it's my birthday's on Monday, and each year it should get progressively farther away and then catch back up to Father's Day.
Yep.
But it's really weird when your birthday falls on, Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day,
Easter.
anything like that. Hey, we got a really cool topic. Actually, Pamela came up with it. Some wild and funny things happen with clients in readings. So that we're going to chat about that today. If you have a question, a specific question, go ahead and put it in the chat. No, you don't have to get on a waiting list. No, you don't have to say, can I have a reading? No, you just go and put the question in, and we'll get to questions sometime later in the show. And if you don't have a specific question, but you still want us to pull a card or two, just put in, can I have a message from the universe? Yep, yep. And speaking of cards, I got a card of the day, and it turned out to be one of my favorite cards of all time, Temperance. I love Temperance. The Temperance Tarot card encourages balance, patience, and moderation. It suggests finding a middle ground between extremes, whether in decisions, actions, or emotions. It can also indicate combining forces or embracing a blended approach to reach a solution or goal. So there you go. There's the message for today. Yay. And let's see. Before we get into the topic, some house cleaning. We've got great shows coming up all through June. In fact, we were doing our coffee socials on Wednesday, and it's just, show up for coffee social. Well, now we got a topic for like every single show. It's really cool.
Ooh,
As well as your shows. Michelle's
yes.
honor, which, by the way, Michelle did a really nice short,
Mhm.
sweet show on meditations yesterday, and you can watch it in the archive. Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
next Saturday it's going to be on the chakras.
Chakras. Yep.
Yay.
So we're getting beyond tarot, with Psychic Cafe, trying to get into other things and all. Yep. So, as I mentioned about my birthday, well, first, let me mention I was going to, through the summer, Maria and Ginger's show, The Angelic View, is on hiatus, comes back in the fall. But I wanted to continue to plug her course and such. Here is my link. Yes, it is an affiliate link. I do get a percentage if you decide to enroll. But hey, what are you doing this summer? Maybe you could enroll in Maria's course and do that, and become a certified angel practitioner. Or even if you don't want to become certified, you just want to learn to work with the angels, bring it into your life and your work. So the URL is psychic.cafe/CAP course. CAP is what we call the course, Certified Angel Practitioner. And let me see real quick. I'm going to copy and paste this. Let me see if I can get this into the chat real quick. Psychic.cafe/CAP course. And hello to Mystic Tarot Path. Oh, that's Dr. Rose, I think. Yay, Rose made it in there. Very cool. Very cool. So, what else do we have going on? Yesterday, we had a free Akashic Records webinar. That was on Saturday. It was before Michelle's show, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, from the people at Soul Realignment. And it was a webinar on the Akashic Records Manifesting Demystified. Now, if you missed the webinar, it's going to be replayed at the same time, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, on the same day, Saturday, next weekend, the upcoming Saturday.
Awesome.
So you can register and take it right before Michelle's show. And to get to that, you go to psychic.cafe/Akashic, and that'll take you over to where you can register. Now, all this stuff is on the website, folks. So, if you miss anything, just go over to psychic.cafe. That's all you got to do. Open a new tab in your browser, type in. You can do the www. If you want. You don't really have to. You can just type in psychic.cafe. Believe it or not, it takes you right to our website. Let me put in the Akashic here for the people in the chat. And if you're watching in this archive, you can toggle over. It depends on if you're on a phone or on laptop, how you do it, but you can get the replay with all the chat and everything. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to spell Akashic and I'm not doing well. There we go. Okay, psychic.cafe/Akashic. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to mention before we get into the topic is, again, it's my birthday tomorrow. And so what I'm doing for my birthday is I am doing, wrong button, guys. I am doing a blowout sale, 50% off everything. And if you go over to Psychic Cafe, right there on the community feed, or if you click on blogs, you'll see this blog post. God, I can't talk today. Too much karaoke last night. So psychic.cafe/ let me type this in the chat here, /birthday. Psychic.cafe / birthday will take you over to that post where it talks about all of this stuff. Hold on a second. Let me click on it myself and go over there. Just to give you an example real quickly. And, all of our prices after our, I think it was Memorial Day sale, everything went back to the normal prices. The course, my course, certification, membership in the guild, my readings, everything went back to regular price. For this sale, I'm doing a coupon code. And you see it right there on the screen in the upper right in blue. Use coupon code birthday50. So anything you're signing up for, you're enrolling in my course, which, by the way, includes your certification and membership, or maybe you're getting membership separately, or you're already a member and you're getting certification, or you want to book a reading with me. You just click on the book button, the enroll button, the join button, wherever you are. And when you go to the payment screen, it asks for a coupon code. You just type in birthday50, apply. It will make it half off, folks, half off. So just as an example, it's $78 a year to join the guild. Right now it's $39, half off. You're going to get to enjoy all the benefits for a full year. You get to join us on these Zoom calls and get live mentoring and coaching from experts like Miss Pamela and Michelle, and trainings, promotional opportunities, and more. And of course, you can find out more on the website, on the guild page. But even if you're not wanting to study or go professional or get certified or anything like that, you're just a viewer of our shows here on YouTube, you should still join, because you'll be able to come on these Zooms and ask us any questions you want, and you get priority and we spend more time with you. And then my readings, which are already on sale, my readings are $149, my sessions. And I always have it discounted on my profile on Psychic Cafe, $99.99. Well, You put in that code, it'll drop it down to $49.99. And then if you go over to the private members group, if you're a member or you're about to join, there's a private group for members, and there's a post there for professional certification. You'll see a square link. Click that link, and on the sales page, put put in the birthday 50, and it'll drop it down from $138 per level to $69 per level. And then lastly, of course, if you're new to tarot, you can enroll in my Tarot by the Numbers course. It's self-paced, it's online. You learn tarot and numerology side by side, reading cards, and you'll be able to also do things like create numerology charts and reports for your clients. It's normally $299. Put in that code birthday 50, take 50% off. It's $149.50. And like I said, it includes your membership and certification. So yeah, it's active now. I was going to wait till my birthday tomorrow, but I decided to make it active now so we could talk about it on the show, and you can run over and book sessions and enroll in my course and become a member of the Tarot Guild. 20 years, folks. And you can get certified and everything like that. Okay, who else is coming in the chat? I did see movement. Okay, yeah, Green Earth Creations came in, and Dan came in. So hi, Green. Hi, Dan. Hi, Dr. Rose. Dr. Rose has a new channel, name for her channel.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing it now, Michelle. She changed it to the Mystic Tarot Path, Dr. Rose. I love it.
Dr. Rose is amazing, and she has given me some great advice, and I have ran with it. And as soon as things settle down with our little house emergencies going on, I'm going to continue to run with it. I just had to take a break on my videos because of the house.
Oh, and that makes perfect sense, Michelle. I just saw Green Earth said, my real name is Jimmy Kitchens. In July, I'll have funds. In July, you'll have funds. So
nice.
Gonna sign up for some stuff. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, tomorrow might be your birthday, so happy early birthday. Yesterday was my granddaughter's birthday, and she just turned 4, and I think she is getting this for her birthday.
Oh, that's so cute. I wish I could count my birthday on one hand. Oh, I guess I can't. I guess I can go 6 for 60. And now I'm turning 61. So I go 61. Look at that. That is so cute.
Oh, she's gonna love these. When I do my videos, she's always coming up,
Dr.
what
Rose
deck are we
says,
gonna use?
oh, that deck is so cute, Dr. Rose says.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this for her birthday.
So we're gonna go into the topic, but before I want to just mention, as you know, maybe new people are coming in and everything like that. Go ahead and put your questions in now. If you have a specific question, very specific question, just type it in the chat. If you don't have a specific question, but you'd still like us to pull a card or two, type in, can I have a message from the universe? Or you can say my guides, angels, however you want to do it. I just like the universe. So we're going to go into the topic. So great topic for us today. Some wild and funny things happen, with clients and readings. And Pamela came up with this.
Hi, Ellie.
Ellie just popped in.
Oh,
She's in
let's
chat.
hold off. We'll start in a second. Let's
wait and see.
Okay, she's not on again. She popped on and then popped off, maybe. Knock knock, may I join the party? Okay, so
there
she's
she
in
is.
the chat.
She's with us. Pay attention.
Okay, yeah, she just has to turn on her cam and mic and everything. There she is. Oh my God.
Hi,
Ellie. It's been so long.
Been a while, everybody.
It has.
Yeah, so great to have you joining us today. Yeah. So we were just about to talk about the topic, talk about perfect timing. So now I can back up and restart the topic. Everybody, if you don't know, this is Ellie. And she's hosted on a lot of our shows. She's been on hiatus, but she's joining us today.
Hello, everyone.
I can't wait to after the topic. We should chat, and you can tell. Did you go to the demonstrations in San Diego?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You can tell us all about it. I'm dying to know. I saw very little on like YouTube stuff, and I don't watch news and TV. It's like too negative. Anyway, so we'll get your story and catch up with you, but let's do the topic here before I forget. So we got a great topic for you today. In fact, Pamela here came up with it. Some wild and funny things happen with clients and readings. And what made you want to talk about that, Pamela? I bet you got some stories doing this for decades.
Well, mostly it's because everybody that I have ever met that's started their tarot journey is taking it way too seriously. I'm sorry. Yes, it's a very serious business, and you have to be very mindful of what you're saying to people, about people. You have to be very mindful, because when they're sitting across from you or they're somewhere in the world online, it doesn't matter, because what you're telling them at that point is almost like gospel to these people. So you have to be very aware of what you're saying and how they're perceiving it. But on the other hand, there's been a lot of situations where all of a sudden you just really need to take a big hammer and break the ice. And that's the ones that have really stuck with me over the years. And I got to thinking about it, and how many people know it's okay to have a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's kind of recommended, because it really helps. Once you get them to kind of chuckle and laugh, or at least stop, derail them, then they're going to be more open and receptive to what they really need to hear. So that's why it just kind of, and we were talking about it, how the seriousness of tarot and blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, well, yeah, and it's a big but. So anyway, I like the humor. That's it. And tarot can be hilarious, really. I mean, anybody who reads will tell you, you got your cards out and you're asking a question and you don't like the answer. So you reshuffle and you do it again, and maybe you reword it a little bit differently. And the cards are going to give you pretty much the same answer. They may use different cards, but it's going to be the same. It's going to keep steering you in that direction. But if you keep at it, after a while, they cop an attitude, which is hilarious, because then all of a sudden they're telling you that, yeah, you're going to meet a tall, dark stranger on Wednesday, but it's going to be a cat or something like that. You never know what they're going to do or throw at you. And that's your cue to just shut up, take the advice, and deal with it some other time. But you got to learn to laugh at it. You got to learn to enjoy it, because if you don't, you're too serious all the time, you're going to miss half the fun of the journey. And that's my philosophy.
Yeah. So what are some crazy stories or funny or wild things that happened?
Well, there's been several.
Was some of them at fairs? I'm just thinking some funny things have to happen if you do public stuff.
A funny thing happened on the way to the medieval fair. Actually, yeah, I've read for several events, and way back in the day when we were running them, and I say me because I was one of the founders of the local medieval fair. The only time I got a break, and I mean, they would be lined up 20 people deep, because, one of our readers didn't show up. Pam, go get your pavilion. Yay. Okay. So instead of doing what I needed to be doing, which was running the show, I would be reading all day, because you can't depend on just one person to cover the whole thing. It was like 5,000 people there. So you got to be on your toes. Anyway, that's when I would do my readings but the only time I could get a break was during the jousting. Now, when the jousters took the field, the whole fair would just stop and go there. And it was wonderful, because then you could actually go use the sandbox, or you find something to drink, or at least do this, and breathe a little bit. And I'm sitting there, and I was in my pavilion, and I had 3 sides blocked off. And all of a sudden the light was blocked off. And I was shuffling cards and checking phones and everything else. And I looked up, and there was this giant of a man. And I mean, my pavilion was 7 feet tall. Like, just to where you walked in, it was 7 feet. And he's got his hands on the top bar, and he's leaning, looking in. And he says to me, "Are you the tarot reader?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I am." And he nods. And I mean, this is a huge man. He should have had his own area code. He's massive. And he says, "Well, do you have time for a reading?" And I said, "Of course I do." I said, "Would you, if you'd like to have a seat?" And he starts to come in, then he stops, and he looks me straight in the eye, and he says, "Are you any good?" And I looked him straight in the eye and said, "No, actually, I suck." Well, he started to laugh, and it felt like an earthquake in the pavilion was shaking, the ground was shaking. And he says, "I think I'm going to like this tarot reading." And he sat down, and the next thing I know,
Like
he
carrot.
has, yeah, a dozen people lined up for me to read after. Anyway, it was hilarious. But honestly, I've never seen anybody laugh that hard, and that broke the ice. He loved it. He's a new convert. I mean, the man was, "I got to get a deck. Where can I get a deck? I can sell you one," that kind of thing. But it was really fun. It was really cool. Just the look on his face whenever he realized that we were not going to have, it wasn't going to be, it was serious. Of course it was serious, because I'm going to drop some information to him that, yeah, he needed to know. But it was his introduction to tarot, and I wanted him to relax and have fun with it, because if you don't, you're going to miss half of it. I mean, it's like any kind of, you go to school, and the teachers that you remember that taught you are the ones that could really get you engaged. And usually those are the ones that can make you laugh, or at least enjoy it. So that's been my philosophy for a while. And that's where that little bit came from. But that was at a medieval fair. And I don't read for him anymore. It's too windy, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was good times.
Cool. I'm just
That's
putting in
fantastic.
yeah, I mean, I'm just putting in the chat. I said, share your wild and funny stories about doing readings and with clients here in the chat if you read. So if you can't make it onto the Zoom, go ahead and just put it in the chat, and we'll read it. Yeah. Michelle, you got any wild stories?
I did one. I'm trying to remember what we pulled, but it was over Zoom, and it was actually just recently. And she had just crawled into her bed. She pulled her blanket up. She had her cup of tea, and she's like, "Okay, I'm ready for this." She grabs a notebook and her pen, and she's like, "Okay." And so we start the reading, and she said something. And the next card I pulled was just the card that answered that question, but it was not the answer she wanted. And she was laughing so hard that that tea just came out everywhere, out of her nose, out of her mouth, out of her cup. And she's like, "Are you
Wow.
still recording this?"
Mm.
"Oh, yes, I am."
We can edit that part out. Wow.
So that was, I think that's one of my favorite things right there, is when you make them laugh so hard.
Well, when Pamela came up with the topic, I racked my brains, and 30 years of readings, and I really can't think of something funny that happened like that. I mean, maybe I'm too serious in my readings or something like that, very left brained. But on the shows, we had a lot of funny things happen. And usually there's two, sometimes three of us, or like this, four of us up here on the shows. And so we first started doing radio before we got into YouTube, and it's been 16 years, and I can't tell you the number of times that somebody in called up, because back then we were on radio, we had the phone banks, and they asked a question, and one of our hosts did a reading, or it was in chat, and then the other person goes and pulls a card. They either get the exact same card or the same meaning,
Mm-hmm.
and it started happening so frequently, especially like the first 5 to 10 years in. It was happening so much, and there was a different group of hosts back then, and they were funny, and we would just start chuckling on the radio. We weren't on YouTube yet, so we could be in our jammies laying in bed doing a show, with the radio microphone and headset on. It was the good old days, guys, the good old days, and we would just start laughing. Everybody's like, why are you laughing in the chat? We would just get the same cards, oh, and of course we had a lot of the same callers all the time, and they would often ask the same questions, and the tarot has a personality, you know. If you ask it the same thing over and over again, you'll start to get a muddled answer, or sometimes a really funny answer, and so when we got some of those repeat ones, we would start getting the weirdest things coming up in the cards, and it was funny for us, the hosts, not for the caller that kept calling in, but we knew what was going on. The tarot was not having it. It was like, okay, this is the 20th time we've answered this question, twice a week you've been calling in, that kind of thing. Oh, Rosalind came in. Hi, Rosalind. And Astrid, did I say hi to Astrid yet? Drops of Jupiter's here as well.
See,
Ellie, anything funny happen with you yet with clients, or in a reading or something?
I think a couple times there's been some funny business with the cards, but I think it's mostly due to the decks that I use. I feel like some decks tend to have more of a sassy personality than others.
Mm-hmm.
I know one in particular at one point, when I was really deep in my like, will I find another job? And a few years ago, we got let go. I would ask maybe way too much about what might be coming. Is this job opportunity good? And at one point, my deck started giving me the 7 of Wands. And the first thing that came to me when I saw that card pop out was, I said what I said. So it had already told me what I needed to know. And it was just like, mm-mm. And it happened more than once. So I know that deck was kind of getting tired of me. So that's kind of the funny stuff. And I expect her to totally do that to me if I was to use it to read for a client. And client would ask, maybe the same or similar questions. I have no doubt that she'll throw out the 7 of Wands because she's like, I said what I said.
see,
my card for that, I just let me piggyback on that real quick, because my card for that is the death card. So if a client is at or a caller or something, over and over, I used to always get the death card, and how I would like lay out my 5-card spread sometimes, or most of the time, about 98% of the time. I've actually cut back on that now. Now I'm pulling like 1 or 2 cards, sometimes 3. Because I find that they're actually answering it before I get into the 5 cards. But often what would happen with that is I go to do lay 5 cards down, and I got the deck, I pulled the card off the top, death card. Right away I knew it was like, yeah, already answered that. Don't go any further. Michelle?
When it comes to repeated questions, I just was kind of pulling cards, and I pulled this card on repeated questions. And what came to me with this 5 of Wands is insanity. Asking the same question over and over again, expecting the same, that's what insanity is. Repeated, expecting the same result. It's not going to happen. Throw the questions away and start over.
Awesome. Oh, in the chat, Astrid said,
That's what this card is saying.
yeah. Astrid said, I have a crazy story. I was wondering why a guy I really liked was in my life and never took action to take it further, even though he showed a lot of interest. So I asked a very experienced tarot reader. She told me he is the magician. Watch out. He's playing games. I didn't like the answer, so I asked my own deck. Okay, she's putting the rest of the story in. I just started shuffling and hadn't finished, and one card jumped out, very strongly jumped out of the deck, and it was the magician. Goosebumps.
Yes.
See what happens when you don't believe the tarot. By the way, we have a show coming up later in the month where there's actually a couple of shows that are kind of related. And one is let me see if I can find it here. So the 18th here coming up, can tarot really predict the future? And the other one, we had to reschedule it. Has a tarot reading ever been wrong? And so what we were just talking about kind of leads into that, and that's what we're going to talk. Wait, what was the dates? It's what we're going to talk about on the 25th. That's a Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Check my calendar. Yeah. So the 18th Wednesday will be, can tarot really predict the future? And then the 25th, has a tarot reading ever been wrong? And hopefully Dr. Rose will be with us on camera the next 2 Wednesdays, because those are her topics, and it kind of blends with what we were just talking about tarot having a personality, and has a tarot reading ever been wrong? And you think that the obvious answer is, well, duh, yeah, even the really expert readers say they're 98% accurate. But actually, I always tell my students the tarot cards are never wrong, but your interpretation could be wrong. Or that's the first instance. The second instance is what we were just talking about. If you ask stupid questions, and I know no question is stupid, but I don't know any PC way to say it. So I'm just going to say, yeah, they're asking kind of silly or stupid questions, or they're repeating the same question over and over and over again. And that's when it doesn't come out accurate as far as answering their question, but it has a message. It's just telling them something different. Anyway, so I want to throw that in, and also plug for you guys to, come to the next 2 Wednesday shows. It's going to be really cool. We'll go through the shows in a little bit here before we do some readings, and after we're done telling stories.
I got one more.
Came in. Yeah, I'm going to get back to you, Pam. You're next. I just want to, whenever people come in the chat, I'm just trying to say hi to people. I'm looking in the chat now. Kumzil, I don't know how to pronounce that. Khum, Kum. I'm just going to go Kum. Anyway, I just want to say hi to them. So I'm sure you have other great stories, Pam. Lay something on us.
Well, okay, I got a couple more, but the one that's my favorite, my all-time favorite, I lived in the country most of my adult life. It's only been in the last couple of decades, that I do live within the city limits, mostly because I got too old. But I always had a ditch goat, and a ditch goat is an actual goat that you tie to your fence posts where the road, between the fence and the road. And we've got big wide ditches where I live, and it's impossible to mow them. And I went out one morning, and oh my goodness, my antique ditch goat had curled up in her sleep and not woken up, and I felt terrible.
Oh.
Well, anyway, I got to work that day, and I was reading tarot at a local New Age shop, and I got the hold of the newspaper, and there in the newspaper, I opened it, boom, right there. There's an ad for baby goats. I thought, oh, perfect, synchronicity. So okay, I made a call, and turns out it's about 30 minutes from where I live, and I thought, okay, that's not a big deal. So anyway, I set up this appointment. I'm going to run out and buy a goat, and I'm going to run it to my house and blah, 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 because I need a goat. That's it. They're good for not just keeping my ditches clean, but if you're going to have distemper go through your horse herd, then they'll get it first, and you got plenty of time to vaccinate. So goats are great, and not to mention they're fun. So anyway, I go out and meet this farmer, and it's a lovely Mennonite farmer. He's just the most soft-spoken, gentle person I've met in so long. And he grabs his teenage son and tells him, boy, get out there and pick this woman out a goat. And he says, do you have a preference? And I said, I want a neutered billy goat. And he said, fine, no problem. So he takes off running after this herd of goats. And I'm watching it. And it's hilarious. He's the 17-year-old kid chasing down this goat. And I'm kind of chatting with the farmer, and goats are not cheap around here. They're very expensive. So anyway, the boy finally catches a goat. He brings it back, and it's kind of, kind of wrestling with him. And he says, where would you like for me to put it? And I said, oh, just put it in the front seat. And he looks at me. He says, well, it's going to poop. I said, they're vinyl seats. I'm not worried about it. Just put it in the front. So he goes over, he shoves this goat in, and I turn to the farmer and I said, okay, now I need to know, how much do I owe you for this goat? And he frowns and he looks down and he digs it. He literally dug his toe in the dirt. He looks up at me and he says, aren't you that there tarot reader? I went, oh, crap, here we go. Yes, sir, I am. And he nods and he looks back down again. Then he looks up and he says, would you trade a tarot reading for a goat? I would love to. And the next morning, as soon as I got to work, I hadn't been there 10 minutes. He walks in and he got a tarot reading. I read cards for an hour for a Mennonite farmer who didn't even, he'd heard of tarot, didn't know anything about it, and traded a goat. So I've literally traded a tarot reading, for a goat.
Wow.
That's one of my highlights in my career. Yeah.
If I ever get anybody paying that way, I'm sending them to Pamela.
Please do. I love goats. Yes. Goats, cats, horses,
Yes.
But yeah, it was hilarious. Just because we left the woman that owned the shop.
But was the reading good? Like,
he loved it. He absolutely loved it. He got
stuff out of it.
Yeah, he got tons out of it. I always take about 3 to 5 minutes at the end of it to say, okay, is everything clear? And I record them. And back then it was on cassette. That's how long ago it was. But his questions were intelligent. And Mennonites are very, very deeply religious people. And I was really kind of surprised.
Yeah, we had the Amish in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's same idea. Okay, different philosophies, but same idea. And I never, that was the last person I expected to ask. And I thought it was hilarious, funny, and wonderfully apropos.
Because shy away from stuff like tarot, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've had people literally do this and back up from me.
Yeah.
Rose.
I was at Caitlin, my daughter's work, and I had a coloring tarot book in my hand, and I was called Evil. And then I went into another building and I had a coin bag, and it had the Ouija board on it. And someone was like, oh my gosh, you should not be carrying that around. Yes.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I have that.
A miniature in a tin can.
I got my coffee cup, and I was told that I am letting the devil out and encouraging children. Yeah, I get persecuted all the time.
It's like being gay.
They gave up on me years ago. They did. They gave up on me about 3 decades ago.
No,
they tried to save my soul, and by God, it just will not be saved.
Nope.
Think about it. Think about the parallels to being gay. So, I have a double whammy. You know how they say that for women. It's like, well, she's a woman, she's Black, and she's gay. Yes. All three. Or guys or what have you. But even for me, it's like, oh my God, I'm a tarot reader and gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I got strikes. Hey, welcome in, Rose.
Hi,
I don't know,
Dr. Rose.
Glad you could join us. I don't know if you have any funny things that happened with any clients or anything like that, but
I do. And that's why I popped on just to tell you this story. Good. So one of the things years ago, as you guys know, I'm getting back into the tarot. I'm loving it. And years ago, I worked for a tarot hotline company, which I'll never do again in my life.
Rose is actually Miss Cleo. I mean, look at her and the hat on the head thing,
I just need to work on my Caribbean accent. That's all.
You're going to be rich, Rose, getting back into tarot.
Yeah, remember, she got sued too, so we don't want that.
Miss Rosie Rose. I love it. We're just going to call her Miss Rosie Rose.
There we go.
Yes.
And so I worked for one of these companies, and the late night calls were always the most interesting. And they're usually the longer calls because people are desperate or drunk or whatever's going on, right? And so I was working the night shift, and this lady called me and asked, you could tell in her voice, she really wanted to know if this guy was interested in her. And so at the time when I was reading the cards, I read the court cards a little bit differently at that time. And so I was reading the court cards, and, and I was like, I was reading the tarot spread they put out. I said, are you sure he's really into you? I'm getting that he's not into women. And she hung up the phone. I was like, oh my God. She did not like that, for whatever reason. I don't think she ever called back, but it was hilarious. I thought, oh, okay, sorry. But I totally got in the spread. I was like, I don't think he's really into, women. I'm just getting a completely different vibe here. And she
oh, that is so good.
That's my funny story. That was the one thing that stuck out of all stories that I have about the tarot. That was hilarious. I was like, wow.
I love it.
Michelle, do you have another one?
Well, I do. So it's actually rather funny. It's rather sad. I was doing a reading, getting ready to do a reading, and someone asked me how many decks I had. And at that point, I didn't have very many decks. And I said that I had about 10 decks, but I didn't say decks.
Yeah. What? Oh my.
If you mispronounced deck.
I did. Yeah, I accidentally changed the E to an I.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Been there, done that.
And Michelle, I can see why you get persecuted a little bit, more than others. No, just kidding.
And that's how I started.
Sounds like something Dan would
reading. I had never been so embarrassed. Oh my gosh.
Oh, by the way, Irene's in the chat. Hi, Dan. I thought you took the day off. No day off for Dan. The house is falling apart, and he's working on stuff. We're surprised he's actually in the chat right now.
I am too. I am too. Poor guy.
Yeah.
So come on, Michelle, you don't really feel sorry for him. You're laughing at him.
I am. Yeah.
We're rapidly running out of time, so I'd like to ask if Ellie or Pam or Rose, if you guys have any other stories you want to throw out there. And
that's actually it for me. And I just want to come and give you guys a story, and I'm going to jump off so you guys can carry on with the show.
Awesome. Thanks for being in here.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Rose. Well, when she said dicks, it reminded me when I first finished the artwork for the Steel Wizard, I had my cousin flew up from the States, and we were going through the pictures I'd drawn and colored one at a time, and I'm rattling off thoughts about what I see in them. And she's industriously typing at my computer at the time. And then she would stop and read it back to me. And we got to the Nine of Wands. And I'm explaining to her, well, this is about preparedness, about being ready, ready to blah, 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 blah. I said, well, you know what I mean, like getting your ducks in a row. And she said, that's it. I said, that's it. So she's reading it back to me, and she stopped and she looks around at me and she says, I don't think we can print this. I said, what did you type? She said, well, we're supposed to get our dicks in a row. Do you know, to this day, when you open the guidebook for the Steel Wizard, the last comment on the upright version of the Nine of Wands is getting your ducks in a row, because I could not take that out. I couldn't. So when you read it in the guidebook, that's what we're talking. Well, Michelle, you hear me, I'm sure.
I do. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. I love tarot.
wow.
Tarot keeps me entertained.
It does.
That's great. That's great.
That is fantastic. Oh.
Any other ones? Ellie, got anything else?
Oh, man, it's been a while since I've been out reading for clients.
Right. It's been a while.
I
Yeah.
guess it's just fun when you get those reactions where, you know, kind of like how Dr. Rose was saying, you know, that aha moment where they're just kind of like, oh, and then everything just kind of shuts down. I think I had a client once back when I was doing readings at a local crystal shop where this lady like full on paused. It looked like a just complete freeze, like a computer freezes, like tabs frozen. And she was just there at the result of the reading, and she's just kind of like, do you have any questions? I didn't know how else to react. And she was like, oh no. But it took them kind of like a moment to like catch up with what was actually going on in the cards. So that to me is just, it's kind of funny. I don't want to laugh, but at the same time, it's cool to see that real time like process of something that's just so light bulb.
Yes, my son, he just turned 30 and I gave him his first reading. And it was funny to watch his reaction because he jumped. He was sitting in the chair and he jumped up and he's all, no way. And then I pull another card and explain it. And just his facial reactions as he's moving around, like, oh my God. It's like, okay, really, it's okay. Calm
No, but
down.
some of the reactions are just priceless.
Yeah.
There was a tall, good-looking man that he worked in the oil patch. He was some kind of a engineer, consultant, some of it. And he came for a reading at my old house. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. Anyway, we're sitting at the kitchen table, and it's a big old antique kitchen table. And I'm reading his cards. And this is when I vaguely recall it had to do with business, and it had to do with his partnerships and all of this and that and the other. And I remember telling him, be careful who you choose for partners, because the people you're thinking about, going into this with are not the right people for you. Like, this would be a huge mistake, et cetera, et cetera. And when I was done, he's sitting there and he's got his hands folded and he's quietly nodding. And I said, did all of that make sense? And he said, oh, total sense. And I said, do you have any questions? And he said, no. And then he kind of, he stood up, and this guy was like 6.5 feet tall, leaned across the table, grabbed my face, kissed me. I mean, just big wet one on me, turned me loose and said, thank you, and left me $100 tip.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
Was that for the kiss or the reading? That's what I want.
Awesome.
I'm not that good a kisser, I didn't think. Anyway.
Well, once a quarter or twice a year or something like that, we should do this and try to get like more of the members of the guild, especially the new ones, if they've been out reading, I'm sure they've got some stories, and we can tell stories, we should call it something, tarot story hour or something like that, where we tell funny stories.
Tell me a story with tarot.
Yes.
I've got a workshop on that.
Yeah.
Show and tell time.
Dr. Rose is in the chat. She said $100 tip. Wow.
Yeah. No kidding. And this was like in the late 90s. That was a lot of money.
Oh, real quickly, I want to tell everybody, because I typed it in the chat in case you're not seeing the chat, because Jimmy had said that his birthday is in August, and something about funds coming in I think he's going to be
July.
65 in July or something, and I want to let everybody know the coupon code right now is birthday 50 for my birthday. But even after my birthday, if you were live with us here and you still want to get the 50% discount, just send me a message, whenever you're ready to enroll in the course or join the guild or get certified or book a session with me or something like that. Remind me of this show. Send me a message on Facebook or on the website, Psychic Cafe. You can message from our profile, right? Or shoot me an email, dax@psychic.cafe, and just remind me and ask for 50% coupon code, and I'll just make one up and send it to you to use. So I'll make sure you get this sale. Doing that just because it's my birthday and I can. Well, tomorrow's my birthday, but you know what I mean. So
Yep.
I'm gonna see. We're rapidly running out of time. I'm gonna see if we can get in a reading or two, for some people in the chat. But first, I wanted to fill you guys in on the things coming up. Everybody, keep your cameras on. Don't turn your cameras off, because I want to be chit-chatting with you when I have the banners up here. But if you want to grab us a cup of coffee, it's psychic.cafe/coffee. And let me put that in the chat. And that's kind of our tip jar. Also, if you buy us a cup of coffee, the next time you're on a show, guess what? Your reading gets priority. Just let us know, remind us, right? Okay, so we want to invite you to join the guild celebrating 20 years. Remember to use that code. So you go to psychic.cafe/guild. You can learn all about the Tarot Guild and then click join. And then on the payment screen, just type in all caps birthday 50 and push the apply button. And it's going to, you're going to get it for $39. I mean, only happens once a year, folks. Professional certification is on, you can learn about it on the certification page, psychic.cafe/certification. And my course is at psychic.cafe/course. Remember, when you enroll in my course, it's 50% off right now. Instead of $299, it's $149.50. And you get your membership, you get your certification. It's all included. I'll put that in the chat too, because that's like the best deal. I just put that in there. And we want to invite you to become a host on the network and join all those lovely ladies up there. Or like Dan said it in the chat, all my lovely ladies and Dax. Yep. So, hey, what's coming up? So, as I said, this coming Wednesday, June 18th, can tarot really predict the future? We're going to talk about, actually, I'm going to try to remember to do this on the show on Wednesday. I'm going to go. So our topic is this: can tarot really predict the future? No, it can't. Okay, so we're going to just stop doing the show right now, because otherwise, why would we do a show if it can't predict? Anyway, I'm just going to make a funny out of it. But then on Saturday, June 21st, it is Michelle's Mystic Corner. What are the chakras? We get to talk about something other than card reading. And then next Sunday, so 1 week from today, I'm hoping that a lot of you folks like Dr. Rose and Pamela and Michelle and Ellie and perhaps others can join us next Sunday, because we're going to be talking about, is it spiritual to make money as a psychic, medium, or tarot reader? And that is a big hot topic. And so I'd rather have a big, decent sized panel to discuss that particular thing. And then Wednesday, June 25th, that's has a tarot reading ever been wrong? That's from Dr. Rose. And we had to move it. Couldn't do the show one Wednesday and had to move it to the end of the month there. And then Saturday, June 28th, Michelle's Mystic Corner again. This is the Crown Share Saturday, where you bring your deck. And if you're a member, you can join us up here on, just like the lovely ladies up here, you can join us on the Zoom call and pull cards too and everything. And then Sunday, June 29th. How close are you to becoming a professional tarot reader? A lot of people that are wanting to go pro, you may be asking yourself this question: am I ready? So we're going to have a discussion about that the last Sunday of the month. Yes. So that's like all the cool stuff coming up and everything like that. And I don't usually, when I'm saying upcoming shows, I usually do like the Wednesday and the next Saturday. I don't go through the whole month, but we have such cool topics this month. I want to tell you guys when they all are, so you can all decide which shows you definitely want to, join us. And if you're one of our hosts or staff members, you can decide, oh yeah, that Sunday I'm going to be on camera with the rest of the ladies and Dax. Yeah. So that's all the cool stuff going on. What was the other thing I wanted to mention? Oh, of course, don't forget the birthday sale. Even though tomorrow's my birthday, it's already started. If you go over to psychic.cafe, you'll see it right there in, the top of the page. It's pinned to the top of the page, so you guys can go and grab that. And like we said earlier in the show, if you missed the free webinar yesterday, it's repeating, before Michelle's show, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, next Saturday. What is that? That's the 21st. So go over to psychic.cafe/Akashic. And if you're wondering what to do this summer, if you don't enroll in my course, maybe you're already a tarot, enroll in Maria's certified angel practitioner course. And it helps us out too, because we have an affiliate deal with Maria. Go over to psychic.cafe/cap course. Use that link, please. And that way we get a little kickback. It is an affiliate link. And I'll pop it in the chat. And Michelle, you have you've taken the course, right? And Dan too.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Which one?
The CAP course, certified angel practitioner.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you got a lot out of that too, right?
Oh, yes. I really got a lot out of that. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of really deep, like, soul work in there that really helps to guide you into how to connect with those angels. And it was really beneficial. I actually may have cried a couple of times.
Oh. By the way, one of our members, Irene, is in the chat, and she had one of the first questions. She asked for a word from the universe. Who wants to pull card? Ellie, you haven't been here forever. Pull a couple cards for Irene. She just wants a message from the universe.
All right, coming right up. Let me pick some cool decks.
Oh, yes. Oh, and you know, Michelle is just totally jealous. Look at those bookshelves on the side of you and behind you, chock jammed full of cards decks.
The collection got out of hand, I will admit, but I've leveled off. I'm calm now.
Awesome. Okay, she's working on that. I want to let's prime somebody else while Ellie's getting ready to give a message to Irene, because drops of Jupiter. Will I ever find a way to help my anxiety or depression? So who wants to take that? Michelle or Pamela? When do you guys start pulling cards on that? And
Okay.
Ellie, when you're ready, go ahead with Irene's, and I'm going to look up other questions.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay. Well, I have Drops's question.
Okay.
And so the first one I have is the Two of Pentacles. So when it comes to your depression and anxiety, they are two separate entities, not one. And so a lot of it, we've got the tree and the cross. So a lot of it is ancestral, genetically, I just completely lost the word. It comes down from the family line, and it is a burden that you're carrying. So what you really want to do is you want to seek medical experience, whether that is with a doctor, a psychologist, because either way, you are letting them both get to you. And whether it is just talking to a professional or seeking medication, either way, one of those avenues is going to help. But if you go forward with getting help, it'll make you balanced. And if you're not into that, another thing you can start doing is meditating. With the tree card, you want to ground yourself. You want to let go of the burdens you're carrying, the stress you're carrying, ground yourself, meditate, and really just embrace Mother Nature. Maybe put your feet in the earth a little bit, and do some kind of rituals with all of the elements to really help get you in tune with your inner and higher self.
Awesome.
So that's what I have.
And Ellie, what did you get for Irene?
Yeah, okay. So the weird thing is that I heard Michelle mentioning grief, heavy feelings, and it's kind of weird that came up. I feel like it might be a kind of all-around situation thing going on, because the cards I got for you, Irene, I pulled an oracle card just to kind of give me the vibe. What do you need to know about? And grief did come up as the topic here. So grief with the 5 of Swords, heavy thoughts. There's a lot weighing on you. There's a lot of things coming at you left and right. And I kind of feel like it may have to do with just the general situation of the state of the world, right? There's a lot, excuse me. There's a lot of just this kind of heaviness, and it almost feels like a hopelessness. But remember with the 5, the 5s are change. The 5s are cycle that we're going through that is just kind of uncomfortable, but it's going to lead us into the 6s, which is harmony. So that kind of feels like drawing out of the stage of grief. If there's anything heavy weighing on your mind right now, that's easy knowing that. The card here we got was the, it says vulnerability. So vulnerability, allow yourself to feel what is being kind of collectively felt right now. And also know that justice, the justice card is going to come up to just balance out everything that is going on. The things that we feel right now that are weighing heavy on us, there is a process in motion right now where we are going to be able to kind of see ourselves into the state where things come back into balance, because things are going to upright themselves. It's almost giving me like the Wheel of Fortune card, but it's more of a sense of like collectively, we need to know that the heaviness that we feel right now, everything we feel right now, is a part of the transition, is the phrase that I got. So it's a part of the transition. And I'm not really good at astrology or anything, right? But this just does kind of play into like everything that's going on astrologically. We're in a state of a lot of change right now. So the vulnerability, again, comes from just being able to be in your feelings and recognize them, honor them. And also, I also kind of feel like if you want to reach out to people and just kind of build a community to help be in community with, that will help restore a sense of balance, at least for the time being, to help you kind of make it through these times as we collectively hold on and see where the roller coaster's taking us. So yeah, very interesting message there today.
Yeah. 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 Oh, Rosalind wanted a general. I don't know. Do you want to pull cards, Pam, for
Sure.
Rosalind?
Just a general?
Yeah, just a general, whatever comes up. And meanwhile, Michelle, do you want to do What a Lovely Days? Can I get a message from my ancestors? That's a cool
one. Cool. Okay, first card I got. Who am I reading for? I'm sorry.
Rosalind.
Rosalind.
Hey,
hello,
Rosalind, this is yours.
Rosalind, this is for you. And the card I drew for you first is the Strength card. Now, this tells me that you need to really look at the source of your strength, where it comes from. I mean, you know how a lot of times when something's going on and you feel like you just want to stop and walk out the door, you're not going to take any identification, you're not going to take any money, you just want to start walking. And yet something will happen, something like if you've got kids, maybe one of the kids wakes up in the middle of the night and doesn't feel good or wants a drink of water or something like that. And all of a sudden the thoughts of leaving are gone, because the source of your strength is much deeper and much more intimate than, let's say, going to the gym and working out. This is a wellspring that you can always draw from. It is endless and it is there. Now, the only thing you need to look at whenever you're looking at the strength of who you are and what you're doing, what you need to ask yourself is it the power of love or is it the love of power? Where does my strength come from? Okay. And you're going to find it's an ancestral thing. Okay. This has been going on for you for generations, and it comes through your family line. It's not always been obvious. There's been a lot of times when it's been really well hidden, but if you start to really look and really dig deep, you're going to find that there are others in your ancestry that have been, let's say, gifted. And this is one of those gifts, is an endless source of strength. So identify that and you'll be a lot happier. Okay.
Awesome. And I love how the synchronicities, because there was Ellie said it about Michelle's and then went into the reading, and then you just ended on an ancestor note, and Michelle's about to read wait, who was it again?
What a Lovely Day.
What a Lovely Day. That's Nicole, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. May I have a message from my ancestors? And then we got to get out of here because we're already over, but I wanted to say real quick that Ellie, oh my God, It's so great having you here. I'm sorry
Yes.
you didn't have time to get into your story because I really want to hear some tidbits and, what happened and everything. But
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm really excited to share with you guys at another time. I
yeah.
took a deep dive these past few months into archetypal tarot and really kind of
Oh,
blending depth psychology with the tarot. So that might be a fun topic one day.
Let's do that.
yes. I'll
Oh my
bring
God,
my
that's like a
cards.
series of shows or
Yes.
shops or something. Yeah, let's totally
So,
do that. Go
We'll
ahead,
catch up.
Michelle. And
so
then,
for
yeah.
Nicole, I shuffled and I drew my ancestral card. And then what I did was I pulled some cards around it. Now we got the bear and the birds. So it is time for you to get some strength in communicating, and to grow out of your nervousness being around other people with I don't know if it's teamwork you're having problems with, or if it's the being with around people who just can't think like you do, but you're not moving forward. So here's what you need to do in order to be able to be around all those other people and move forward. You need to stop lying to yourself, stop deceiving yourself, because you are stopping yourself from moving forward. So stop the stinking thinking, get rid of all the negativity. Don't call yourself names, especially when you do something small. Oh, you dummy. Don't do that. I know I do it. I have to smack myself. Knock it off.
Mm,
So that's a big one, okay? And then you will be able to have the strength you need to be around the people that you need to be around to be able to take that step forward into the next project that only you know what it is. So
mm.
that is what I have for you.
There we go. Yay. So, as always, everybody join us over on Psychic Cafe, www.psychic.cafe. And you can sign up, register on the website, and get your profile and everything for free. So, I'm going to pop that in the chat here real quick. www.psychic.cafe. Come over and get your profile and hang out with us there. And you can do blog posts and create groups and do all kinds of cool stuff on the website. Ellie, I just put it in my notes while Michelle was doing that reading. Ellie's topic for a show in bold in green. So in my notes, so it's like okay, because I got to ask you, when we can do that. And I'm thinking maybe because we have all these shows already set up June, but July's almost here. And we got shows like Sundays the 6th, the 13th, 20th, 27th, maybe one of those Sundays we can do your topic. Everybody's excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody for being here. This was a lot of fun. Man, I gotta go make lunch. I'm dying. I had a little
Right.
bit of cottage cheese this morning, and that was it.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so good seeing you again. Ellie
So glad
and
to
Dr.
see you,
Rose.
Ellie.
Thanks for
Happy to
being
see
on for a
you,
second, Dr. Rose.
Michelle, Pamela, Dax, everybody, Dr. Rose. I'm so happy that I was able to join you all today.
Oh, absolutely awesome. Bye everybody for now. Um, something stuck. There we go.